Good evening. This is CTV News for Friday, June 6th. I'm Byron Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, police have arrested a John and a second man in the College Park motel murder that happened earlier this week. The suspects are 23-year-old Vaughn Bellamy of the district and 24-year-old Barry Fox of Temple Hills. Bellamy has been charged with first and second-degree murder in the death of 25-year-old Katina Cortez after what police call a tragic reminder of the dangers of the sex trade. Police say the victim was discovered by an employee in a second-floor room at the Ramada Limited on Tuesday. This at around 1:15 in the afternoon. She had been shot, police say. Investigators say phone records led to Bellamy, who was the last person to speak to Cortez. They agreed to meet at the motel, they say, in exchange for money and sex.
We were quickly able to ascertain what phone number and what relationship existed between the phone number and our suspect, and were able to locate the suspect, Mr. Vaughn Bellamy, late last night, and our co-defendant Fox at the same location at the 2500 block of Southern Avenue late last evening. Mr. Bellamy was transported to our Criminal Investigations Division, where he was interviewed and made statements implicating his involvement with having had contact with our victim that ultimately led to the murder.
This came to the forefront. Many happen behind the scenes. Many crimes go unreported. We were reminded this week as we interviewed numerous women who were involved, how often they get raped and robbed, how often there's theft. And so we want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that we're here. Any opportunity that anyone wants to get out of the trade.
The second suspect in the case is charged with accessory after the fact for helping transport Bellamy from the scene. In other news, today marks a special day in U.S. history. June 6th, 1944 is D-Day, and this year is a milestone. Our Ray Baker was in Washington at the World War II Memorial and has this story.
On this day 70 years ago, over 100,000 Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy to save the world from Nazi Germany. Here today in Washington, D.C. at the World War II Memorial, many Americans have come here to tell those veterans thank you.
I feel so proud to be here today, and that my grandfather was part of this. I wish he could be here, but I just feel so filled with so much pride. It's knowing everything that he went through. It was a very dark day for him, D-Day, and so I absolutely wanted to be here today to honor him because he passed away and he can't be here.
Family was a theme for many in attendance. Richard Susie was among those who came from out of state to pay respect.
My father, Dan Susie, he was a World War II veteran. And what brought us here today is an actual honor flight from Rhode Island with 23 veterans. There are 51 of us that traveled here. And what I think of when I think of my father is the fact that he passed away before I would have had a chance to bring him on an honor flight like this.
Lessons of the past weren't just important to older Americans, but they were valuable to younger ones as well.
I think it's important for the generations to know what past generations went through. It was it was an incredible sacrifice for our family. We have your great-grandfather was a PT boat commander. Her other grandfather was in World War II. I think it's important. I don't think the generations, kids now understand enough about what they actually went through.
On D-Day, over 5,000 American soldiers were killed, with one soldier even exclaiming, "I hope in 20 years someone remembers us." Well, 70 years later, those valiant soldiers are remembered. In Washington, D.C., I'm Ray Baker, CTV News.
Thank you, Ray. Well, President Obama recognized the occasion on the shores of Omaha Beach in Normandy, France. In other news, on the economic front tonight, here are the numbers: 217,000. That's the number of jobs that were added to the nation's workforce during the month of May. And according to the U.S. Department of Labor, it's the fourth consecutive month of job growth exceeding 200,000 jobs. The nation's unemployment rate held steady at 6.3%. Here in Maryland, those numbers are due out in 2 weeks. And local election officials are urging residents to take another look at their sample ballots this year. The new forms, which were sent out in May, have important redistricting information. This means changes that may place you in a new district, resulting in a different candidate, and a new polling center. And you can find more information about these lines and polling places by calling the Board of Elections at 240-777-VOTE.
25, 26, and 27 and 47. So, virtually all of the districts were legislative districts. There were some changes that were made. They may have been in a specific legislative or county council district previously, and because of the changes that were made to the legislative boundary, they may no longer be in that district. So it's imperative for them to read the sample ballot. That ballot is also available on the Prince George's County Board of Elections website. And if the voter has additional questions, they can contact our office and we'd be happy to walk them through that process.
And you can find more information about these lines and polling places by calling the Board of Elections at 240-777-VOTE. You can also go to the website 777vote.org. Early voting starts on June 12th. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.